Every day that passes by, Manchester United players and former Manchester United legends continue to give Garnacho his flowers, and they're obviously revealing to us that he's gonna be the next big thing into this football world, and his future has been regarded as very bright by these people. And I think I side with them. I've been one of those who went ahead to obviously say that Alejandro Garnacho is really a generational talent and is that kind of player that will keep you off your seat. And another United legend has gone ahead to first criticize how poorly United has been recruiting in its academy, and now he has gone ahead to acknowledge that there is a lot to obviously talk about as positives coming in from the Manchester United Academy. Welcome to the United Matters channel. How are you guys and where are you watching us from? You know, it is really long since we last played. You know, we last played, I think, was it a Monday, right? Now, today is 20th, and we're left with 8 days to obviously see to it that we get in action again. And remember, Manchester United is going to play Newport. That is on the 28th. 8 days from now, we are going to be playing Newport away, but it's going to be a full squad. But a little bit of updates. You remember Bebe, a player that Alex Ferguson signed, and that player went ahead to flop at the club of Man United. Yesterday, he was playing for Cape Verde and he scored a very beautiful goal. It was a free kick and it was Ronaldo-like, you know, accelerating and decelerating back in the goal line of the team they are playing for. I think that was against, was it Mozambique? And that game ended 3-0 in favor of Cape Verde. So Bebe, he was a flop at Man United. You remember he was signed after United brought in Obertan, but every time he was given a chance, Bebe couldn't obviously prove a point that he's really one of those players that can obviously turn around a season at the club of Manchester United, and they obviously got him off. He was one of those players that was scouted by people that scouted Cristiano Ronaldo and told Alex Ferguson that maybe you've gone ahead to get a new Ronaldo. Ferguson went in for him and Bebe went ahead to flop. You remember Obertan, you know, the likes of David Bellion. Those are some of the players whose names will always be forgotten. Now, the other update coming in from Manchester United is all about Casemiro. He went ahead to obviously get an award in there for, I think they were around in Dubai. Ronaldo was there. Erling Haaland was there. And so everything is really moving on as planned. So let's get into these stories, right? We thank God for the gift of life. The Muslims Barakallahu Fikum. And let's obviously get going and present you exactly what you guys are all after. Now, the story that kickstarts off this episode of the brightness of Garnacho's future started it off with Ryan Giggs coming out and saying that is the number one thing we have to change, the culture of the club, to get players in who want to play for the club of Manchester United and will do anything to win a game for Manchester United. And that's something in the midterm we have to get in players. So Ryan Giggs was obviously talking about the players that Manchester United have been getting in recently, and I know he was really trying to obviously get the likes of Anthony into this equation and very many others, but I really understand where this comes in from, and we've always gone ahead to address this issue that it's all about the board of Man United, you know, because if you have a competent team, you can obviously suggest a player and they will tell you no, he's not gonna come in through and really play. And having competent people means a lot if at all you've been following what teams like Manchester City, who have gone ahead to be progressive in the recent decade, they've gone ahead to do. For example, when Bob came in through and really scored a win against Newcastle, Pep Guardiola told us that it was not in his interest as a manager to obviously get in Bob into the starting 11 or the first team of Manchester City. It was the sporting director of Manchester City known as Begiristan who told him that please, that boy is ready, because this sporting director is always there training sessions and obviously sees how this guy is performing in the under 19s, you know, under 18s of the team, under 21s, and he really told Pep Guardiola that please, that boy is ready. You get? And when you look at Manchester City, they've not been good at really promoting talent from the academy. You know, Phil Foden has been one of those that has been promoted. Garnacho, you saw that he flopped, you know. But now they're having Rico Lewis. They're having Bob now, and I think even Carl Palmer would have been a very good player at Manchester City if at all he had that patience to play off the bench and not be promised playing time in there for you. So, but we need to be getting in the right players, and I think getting the right players starts up with the board. You know, you must be having good scouts, right? You must be having a sporting director, recruitment, head of recruitment ahead of the scouts, and a CEO and a sporting director ahead of the recruitment officer in there for you and technical director. So that's how everything is supposed to be really streamlined. If at all you want to see to it that your team really gets to where you want it to be in as far as recruitment is concerned and getting the right talent. Now, Harry Maguire also went ahead and said that the academy has always done really well and brought great players through, and I think this manager has always proven it that if you do well, you come up and you train. You get the opportunities and you get given the chance to impress. This is none other than Harry Maguire, and that is the hugest positive I'll ever give to Erik ten Hag, that he is not really rigid to already players that have gone ahead to prove at the club of Man United, his signings, and those that have gone ahead to come in through at some good amount of money. All what he does is you play on merit. You know, at first we are criticizing him for not benching Anthony. He did bench Anthony. Then we criticized him for playing Marcus Rashford, and then he also benched him. The only player that he hasn't gone ahead to bench is Bruno Fernandes. You know, he's Bruno Fernandes. But I think the more we are going to get in more players, Bruno Fernandes, if he doesn't perform well, we have Eriksson, who is one of the best number 10s that I've gone ahead to see in the last decade, who can obviously take us to the levels where we want to be. So the manager has shown us that he can really bench you and really bring in a young player coming from the academy. And the hugest example is that of Garnacho and Marcus Rashford, reached an extent when Rashford is not starting the games of Man United. And even when he was started, he was being played out of position. You know, he was being played as a right forward, and Erik ten Hag just went ahead to say to it that he sometimes benches him and he comes in, and even Garnacho is not taken off. Garnacho is switched onto the right and Rashford goes to play on the left. That is how Ten Hag has gone ahead, obviously, turn this team around. Any player has a chance provided he proves himself. Now, let's go to Ryan Giggs on what he said about Alejandro Garnacho's future being bright. He said, he gets you off your seat. He's giving you 10 minutes more. He's giving you 10 times more than what other guys that cost so much money. We've just recruited Telibri for years and years. But this is a double-edged sword. Recruitment, I think, especially in the academy, has been great. But we haven't really gotten these players to where they deserve to be. For example, if anyone talks about Macheda, do you remember Macheda? Who came on through and scored a winner against Aston Villa and Southampton, those two wins that went ahead to give United a trophy, I think it was in 2010 or 2011, you know? I think Sir Alex Ferguson lacked a coach by then who could groom those players into what he wanted, you know? Paul Ebile Pogba came in through and we couldn't obviously keep him at the club of Man United, and we let him go to Juventus. You get? Then, which other players? Adan Januzaj, Then you can talk about brackets of this world, Bostwich, the twins, the Brazilian twins. They looked like they had a ceiling, you know. They had reached their ceiling. Yet I thought that they really had a lot to their game, and their improvement was not all that very elite. Was it because that Sir Alex Ferguson was okay with what they're really giving us? So I think we've gone ahead to get in players good as Garnacho, but they have not been playing under a very good manager. Trust me, if Mason Greenwood has always gone ahead to play under Erik ten Hag, he would have gone ahead to be a world-class player. Those years he was managed by Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, he would have gone ahead to be turned into a world-class player. I believe Scott McTominay would have gone ahead to be groomed into a much more better player if at all was playing under Erik ten Hag by the time he was brought into the first team. But he was not improved by then and is now 26 years, I think 26 years, and there is nothing you can change on such a player. So I think their academies has been getting in good players, but these players have not been falling in hands of the right managers. Mourinho is not a guy who grooms talent, and this has gone ahead to happen twice ever since Alex Ferguson left. It happened on Louis van Gaal. Louis van Gaal came in through and promoted very many players into the first team of Man United. Tyra Blackett, you get, Bostwich, Fosu Mensah. There was Jesse Lingard, Marcus Rashford. You know, he got them into the team of Manchester United. You remember that very well. And I think there is this other right back that brought in a cross that went ahead to see Marcus Rashford score against Arsenal. I forgot. I think he comes in from South America and was really good. So he had gone ahead to change the entire picture for the club of Manchester United, and he was playing with these young ones. And I remember that in a certain game, we had that right back. I've forgotten his name. Is it Alvaro something? I've forgotten his name. Then Bostwich was playing as the left back. Brackett was playing in the central defense. Jesse Lingard was starting in that game. Marcus Rashford was in. Those are 5. And who else? I think he had like 6 players coming in from the academy, and they had not even hit 20 years. That is how good that manager was, and he believed in young talent. And after him, there came Mourinho, who never believed in young talent, followed by Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, who just went ahead to bring in Brandon Williams, Mason Greenwood into the team of Manchester United, but he never really improved them. Now we get another manager who was an interim, who believed in young talent. That's why I saw it that he gave the likes of Charlie Savage, I think was it Zidane Iqbal, the other one was who? Shora Shoretire, Amad Diallo, and very many other players. He gave them a chance to play the club of Manchester United. That is Rangnick. That's what he did. And then came Erik ten Hag, who believes in young talent, and we're going to hate to see what exactly is going to hate to do. So Garnacho is going to hate to keep very many people off their seats, and Ryan Giggs just sees this guy in his image, because he was really put into the United squad that was really calling in for success, and he never really let down the club of Manchester United. I think he's one of the longest serving players for the club of Manchester United, because if you count from 1992, you know, to a player who played until 2013, you know, those are how many years? 2002, that is 1 decade. 2012, so he was here for 2 decades, and he was playing for just one team, that is Manchester United, and that was Ryan Giggs, and I really like him about that. And when he comes out and really says that this guy is really special, you better know exactly why he's saying he's special. And he plays on the left wing, where Ryan Giggs used to play a lot, and he's obviously putting in a lot of effort. I think Garnacho now has like 5 goals this season. He scored 1 goal in the Carabao Cup. He has 1 goal in the Champions League, and he has gone ahead to score, I think, 3 goals into the Premier League. And I think he is going to obviously explode more. He's one of those players I really look at and really understand that he might score 15 goals. He's going to get double figures for the very first time in his senior career. And this is what we want to get from the guy known as Alejandro Garnacho. Then Harry Maguire has also gone ahead and spoken about Alejandro Garnacho, and these were his words. He said, I think you've seen in glimpses this season that is exceptional talent. I'm sure he will keep going and help the team in the future. Obviously, he's gonna help the team in the future, and if he's doing it at the age of 19, all what he has to do is to listen to Erik ten Hag, do exactly what they're supposed to do, then the rest will be history. And Alejandro Garnacho, again, Harry Maguire is going to have to say this following about him. He's still got to learn a lot. He's still got a lot to learn, but he's an excellent player and a great talent. He's a player that I'm sure is going to have a bright future for this club if he keeps his head down and keeps working hard. That is Alejandro Garnacho for you. He has a bright future if he keeps his head down and keeps working hard. That is it. All you have to do is keep your ears open to your manager, prove those that really doubt you wrong, and the rest will be history. this is Alejandro Garnacho, and I think nothing is going to stop him. It's going to stop him from obviously getting or stopping on the podium of the Ballon d'Ors, winning a World Cup for Argentina, and winning the Premier League and Champions League for Man United, other than himself. If he keeps going and he keeps focused, he's going to really be one of those players that we really want to really be talking about the history of Manchester United, and that shirt number 7 awaits for him. And trust me, there are lots of players that are really gonna put in a lot of competition for that shirt number 7, and I think Mason Mount, if he doesn't turn it around in the next 2 seasons, that shirt number 7 will either be worn by Garnacho, Amad Diallo, or Kobe Menu. Those 3 players are putting in a lot of effort that they might really put in a force to vie for the shirt number 7 of Manchester United. So guys, your thoughts on Ryan Giggs and Harry Maguire coming in through and really promising at that Garnacho's future is very bright at Man United are welcome in the comment section below. Rokan David remains my name. 16 minutes of this video. The Christians, we cover you all in the precious blood of Jesus Christ, and the Muslims, Barakallahu fikum. We out, my mates. Bye bye.